how many of us seek to be peacemakers? But it is that quest to be a peacemaker that Jesus talks about in that particular passage in verse 9. For we are who we are when we have to start to look at the process of what it means to be a peacemaker. How many of us have had to take the time to build something or have brought something from the world and you pull it out for directions and to put the item together and you immediately go to step 2 or step 3 and disregard what it takes to do in step 1? Most of the time, step 1 gives us some very simple instructions. It tells us to read all of the directions before we actually start on to step 2. So just a couple of days ago, Mark and I had the opportunity to go. We had to replace a fan that was in our house. And one of the things that we started off with was it was a very elaborate fan. And so we took the fan took it out of the box and everything like that, and Mark started on building the fan. When we got done with the fan, one thing we noticed, the fan did not work. Why is it that we have put this fan all the way up? We have some very high ceilings right here that you probably can't even see this fan that's up there, but we put it all the way up there. We took about 2 hours to do that, when we realized that we had just forgotten to read the first step. The first step, which told us to make sure that we read every single thing, every single instruction before we got to that point. You see, I think it's even funnier sometimes that manufacturers put step 1 in a different color. You see, this is in color orange, and manufacturer put it in this color. Everything else was white, but we immediately went to step 2 and step 3. Causes us to do that because we become so enamored with what we want it to look like on the end. We were so anxious because it looked so pretty on the outside of the box, and so we were anxious to get it put up, but we realized that we didn't even go through step 1 first. You see, this can be applied with a level of direct teaching to the Christian experience because we become so caught up with what we think it should look like with actually going through the process of going to step 1. In an effort to start with our personal development as peacemakers, as described by Jesus, we must begin with step 1. And step 1 is an analysis of our own personal peace. It's about our personal relationship with Jesus Christ. It's about being present with the love of Jesus Christ. And it's about understanding that love. The exploration of this text this morning is a reminder that if there's no seasoning, then there's no flavor. Then there's no value. If Christians make no effort to affect the world around them, then they would have no value added. No value added as you represent God's presence in this world. If we are too much like the world, we won't be able to help or change it. But just like seasoning, we will be worthless. But in essence, the peace that we experience is not like the world can give us, is none like no other. See, Christians should possess a peace that influences others positively. For as we travel through this season of COVID-19, we have had to embrace a series of questions in order to enter certain places. On a daily basis, I speak to one of my friends on my morning walk, and as we chat, she is at work, working in a day camp and checking young people in as they arrive. And here she asks these series of questions. She starts off by saying, do you feel sick today? Do you have a sore or scratchy throat? Are you feeling tired? Have you had a loss of taste or smell? You see, I've come to a personal epiphany in life that as I get older, my sense of taste starts to change. And that is where I realize that my saltiness changes based on the circumstances that I face, and then I have to adjust it. So Jesus gives us another analogy when he says, you're here to be the light, bringing out the God colors in the world, for God is not a secret that is to be kept. He said, we're going public. He said, I'm going to make you some light bearers. And don't think that I'm going to hide you in a bucket. I'm putting you on a light stand. He said, I'm not just going to put you on the side of the road. I'm going to put you on the light stand so that you can shine. And always have an open house. Always be open to be generous with your lives, to be open to others and to prompt people to open up with God, who is that generous Father in heaven. For when we experience true peace and we experience that relationship with Jesus Christ, it is our opportunity to be ones that stand on the light stand and shine. Not so that we can be seen, but so that God can be felt. Can you hide a city that is sitting on the top of the hill? For its light at night can be seen for days. It's something about being seen in the darkness of all of this that's taking place. For if we live for Jesus, we will glow like lights, shining brightly with his love. For many who are living in spiritual darkness will be attracted to that light that shines all the time and want to step into it. But some of us have realized that even in this season when we're trying to get out of it, that our light cannot be hidden. But we hide it sometimes. We hide it by being quiet when we should speak. We hide it by going along with what the crowd is saying. We hide it by denying the truth of who God is. And we let our light be dim because of the things that we get caught up in this world. It gets dim because we don't explain the peace that we have. Or we ignore the needs of others. It is our time right now to become a beacon of truth, to one who do not allow our light to be shut off or to be shut down. You see, peace is more than just an idea. It's not an emotion. And I'll be honest with you, it's not even that romantic in the sense of the word. For as a peacemaker, we receive the gift of peace as we embrace it in our walk. It is beyond war, and it is beyond peace in the world and in our neighborhood. It is about how we carry that gift to every corner of the world, about how we interact with others, how we show the peace of Jesus to those who you know, and even to those who you don't know, but yet you show the love immensely. It's a surrounding and acceptance of the gift of grace from God that we call peace. So sometimes it's necessary for us to go back to step one.
Hi, my name is Vikki Sorrells, and I'm the pastor here at Lee Heights Community Church. And I want to thank you for viewing our worship service. Here at Lee Heights Community Church, we are a community of believers called to carry the message of God's peace throughout the world and in our community. All people are invited to join us on Sundays at 11 o'clock for our Spirit-filled worship service. If you're unable to make it to church on Sunday, please consider liking, sharing, or subscribing to our channel. And don't forget to ring the notification bell.